look at you. You're gorgeous. Well, not really. Sort of gorgeous. I don't know. Just you. Just you. Well, that was a lot of cheese. Did you see that? Oh, fuck, that was weird. Like, I have to remember to get my head out like that more. It's funny, isn't it? Isn't it trying not to be self-conscious, but you think that feminism is supposedly irrelevant now. It's, you know, it's no longer needed because we've got, you know, all this fantastic life that we're living as women. Well, we don't worry about double chins and being fat and ugly and, you know, wrinkles. Clearly, you know, clearly it's not a worry, you know, jokingly. You know, just last week, you know, most people would have noticed the passing of Colin McCulloch. And in the passing of Colin McCulloch, they put an obit in the Australian which couldn't help but point out that she was basically fat and ugly. But, you know, she was quite a warm person with really quite a talent. Yeah, she sold 30 million books. That was pretty impressive. And she's a neuroscientist. I mean, it would have been good to point out her brilliance and her irreverent character, rather than pointing out the fact that she was pretty plain and clearly bit of a big girl. It just seems weird to have to point that out in someone's obit. It's kind of a little bit, I don't know, like saying it's a surprise that here is, you know, someone that we usually don't actually give a lot of kudos to, fat and ugly people. It is hard. It is hard out there. I know myself, being occasionally fat and ugly. Not all the time. It's not a full-time job. It's a part-time job. I can sometimes be thin and attractive, sometimes fat and ugly. It's wherever I choose to be on the day. But I did actually have a go at Tony Abbott ages ago, and I noticed, I thought I'd get some flack, but as I've commented on before, what came back was that I was fat and ugly. Clearly, because fat and ugly people just aren't, they're not supposed to have a voice. We don't want them. And I think, wow, isn't it interesting that feminism is irrelevant, or it's no longer contemporary, but we still have these kind of judgments about women that they're worthless or meaningless if they're not desirable or attractive or what we see as conventionally beautiful. Even like Germaine Greer was the most revered feminist. You know, when we had our, you know, beautiful, fantastic female Prime Minister, Julia Gillard, she couldn't help but have a go at how big her ass was when she had a pair of pants on. I mean, you're sort of going, oh, whoa, hang on. You know, and when we had the Governor General, who was, you know, Quentin Bryce was fantastic, but one of the main things was commented on was how beautiful she was for a woman of her age, how she dressed well for her size. I mean, you wouldn't say that about Peter Cosgrove, would you? Oh, he's so attractive and he dresses well for his shape and size. I mean, it's just demeaning to have that. And, you know, it doesn't take long. You go Googling on the internet and you'll find sites called, you know, Yoko Ono, you know, looks like an ugly prostitute in a Tokyo bar. That is actually on there. They're a tennis player that won, you know, sort of some, I can't remember her name offhand, but she won the tennis open, you know, Wimbledon actually, I think she won. And she actually got, you know, got absolutely slammed, saying she shouldn't have actually won because she was too ugly. Like, she was too unattractive and mannish, and why doesn't she use the money she wins to actually get some breast implants and look less masculine? And I'm going, wow, that's a bit of a problem. I mean, you wonder why there's such a, you know, bad representation of women in high levels of government and, you know, in business. And I'd say it's because we're spending too much time at home trying to look attractive and thin and beautiful. It takes up a lot of time. I mean, a lot of men out there aren't actually doing that, and they're going out there and they're succeeding. We're at home cleaning, doing the domestic work, and having to be attractive. And I have to say, staying attractive after a certain amount of time takes a lot more work than it used to. As we're getting older, when we should be in our power, we're at home trying to look slightly, moderately okay, so people don't come out and criticise us as being fucking fat and ugly instead of listening to what we're actually saying. Oh, I just think it just gets on my goat sometimes. And no doubt someone will comment on this and they'll go, typical. It would only be a fat and ugly feminist that would actually say something about being fat and ugly. Well, fuck you, that's what I say. I'm quite happy being fat and ugly. I go for it. I'm actually in solidarity with the fat and ugly. I think it's time women showed people that we're quite capable of being fat and ugly and having a voice at the same time. And fat and ugly is a choice. Any beautiful woman can be fat and ugly like that. It's true. You know, being beautiful isn't an achievement. It's just a genetic lottery, or it's good makeup, or too much time spent doing boring shit. There was a great quote by someone that you wouldn't have actually thought, but, you know, she would be a big fat, she'd be fat but not ugly. With Marilyn Monroe said something like, you know, that if you sort of to the point of saying, if you don't like yourself, you know, girls that don't like themselves because they're not a size 0, which is the American thing, you know, that think that they're ugly, you know, it's not actually them that's to blame, it's society who's ugly, which is actually really lovely. I like Marilyn Monroe for that, and I do feel, look at that, hey, fat. I can suck it in though, and I can put makeup on, and I can get that done, and I suddenly look really attractive. So, but does it make what I think different because I look better, a better package? I don't know. It doesn't change who I am, but it makes me nicer to look at, if that's what you like. For those of us still being decorative baubles, it's nice to look at us nicely when we say something uncomfortable.